Hello, seekers. Welcome to the mat. Today we are going to just work through a warm up flow. Not too hard, not too easy, just right. So, starting on your bottom, rooting your sit bones into the ground. Go ahead and wiggle around, make yourself uncomfortable. Sometimes it's nice to try sitting on a pillow with the bottom just elevated a little bit or a block to try to make yourself feel comfortable. If this is very uncomfortable, go ahead and try to use those props and find a way to make this position comfortable for you, not forcing ourselves into something that doesn't feel good. Once you've found a good seat, I'm going to go ahead and just let the spine elongate. Close the eyes and just start to notice your own breath. Not changing it, just your innate, natural breath. Maybe you want to put the hands, palms face up in an act of receiving today. Like maybe we need just a little energy boost today. If we're feeling like we just really need to ground ourselves, we can put the palms face down depending on how you feel. Bow the chin slightly. Let the shoulders start to relax. Go ahead and shake them out a little bit. Let them fall to a natural place. Beginning to build your breath. So starting to practice our pranayama by deepening the breath, closing the mouth, breathing through the nostrils, deep inhale. Hold it at the very top, hold it into that belly. And then keeping the mouth closed, exhaling out the nose, exhaling out. Deep inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 3. And exhale through the nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beginning to use this breath through the flow as we begin to move. The hands come overhead as you inhale, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reaching the hands out, inhale, bring them up. Exhale, hands through heart center one more time. And this time as the hands come down through the heart center, the right hand's going to come to the left knee, the left hand is going to come behind you. And beginning to twist, taking that chin toward the left shoulder. Come back to that breath. Inhale for 5. Exhale for 5. Twist into that space. Allowing the breath to guide you as deep into the pose as you're comfortable going. That inhale will pull you out slightly, and the exhale will let you sink in a little more. Beautiful. Coming back to center, hands at heart, deep inhale, deep exhale. Inhale, hands overhead. And exhale, twist the opposite way. Left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. Deep inhale. Exhale, twist. 2 more breaths here like this. Beautiful. Coming back to center, hands at heart center. Inhale, reach the hands overhead. Exhale, take the right hand next to the mat, next to your hip. Inhale, reach that left hand up. And exhale, take a side bend. That right hand can stay where it is. You can walk it out a little wider if that feels good. And trying to open that chest toward the sky. Gazing up toward those fingertips. Coming back to that breath, deep inhale. Hold it in those spaces that feel tight, and then deep exhale through the nose. 2 more breaths. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead, and take it to the other side. 3 breaths here. And coming back to your seat, hands where we started. And we'll take 3 breaths with the eyes closed, just feeling what that feels like to the shoulders now that we've moved them around a little bit. Last deep breath here. And then make your way to your hands and knees, coming to a table pose. There's options here that you can fold the mat a little bit tighter here. Make a little furrow for your knees to have extra support if that serves you. Just like that. Now coming into that table pose, where the shoulders are directly over the wrist, fingertips are spread long and wide, press into the forefinger and the thumb, and the hips are directly over the knees, hip width distance apart. And we're just starting to rock side to side here, rocking those hips and rocking into those wrists, waking the body up. Then the inhale, the belly drops, the gaze raises. Cat pose. Exhale, cow pose, excuse me. Exhale, round the spine, chin into chest. Now we're coming into cat pose. Inhale, drop the belly for cow. Exhale, round the spine for cat. And beginning to move with your own breath, we began to build in the beginning of this practice, moving through these 2 poses, cat and cow, at the rate of your own breath. Moving through dynamically like this, and then maybe beginning to pause somewhere in a space that feels particularly tight, or it just feels good. And staying there when you find that spot, or flowing if that feels better. This practice is yours. All the things I'm saying are suggestions, and ultimately your body is the teacher. Take the bottom to the heels, melt the heart and the third eye or eyebrow space to the mat. Child's pose. Let's take 5 deep, long breaths here. Maybe sighing out if you feel called to. Releasing something that's ready to go. And when you're ready, when you've had enough of that, rising back to that table pose. So we're going to move through this child's pose into cat and cow and down to our sphinx pose. So starting here, dropping back into child's, coming all the way onto our belly, We can take Sphinx here, where the elbows and forearms are on the ground with the palms facing down, gazing up. This one feels nice to hold sometimes for a little bit. Or you can take the fingertips underneath the shoulders, the elbows hug tight on this, toes hug together, and inhale for a cobra pose. Whichever one feels good to you. We're going to move between these. So coming back through our child's pose. Inhaling through table and onto our belly into that Sphinx or cobra pose. Inhaling back up through table into child's. And then back to Sphinx or Cobra. Move through this 3 more times at the rate of your own breath, maybe pausing where it feels good or dynamically flowing if that feels good to you. Beautiful. Coming back to our table. Rooting into that table pose. Maybe you want to have that knee support again. I know I do. Gazing at the top of the mat. And then when you're ready, that left knee lifts and that left foot and leg extends back behind you. Toe is flexed, really keeping that alignment, dropping that hip so we're not getting it all out of alignment here. We're really dropping that into place there. Toe is flexed, taking a breath here, feeling stabilized. If this isn't feeling stable to you, you can drop that left toe to the mat. Right here, we can begin here with building that strength. That's okay. And then if you're ready, if you feel good and strong here, that right hand can lift and reach out in front of you. Now we can hold this here. If this feels strong, you want a little bit more of a challenge, then you can take elbow to knee. So either holding here, or we can take 4 more elbow to knee if we're feeling good about this. And on this last one, we extend out, and then that left leg is going to come out to the side of the mat. The right hand's going to come out to the right side of the mat. Left hand reaches high, opening that torso right up, coming into a gate pose. So we want to be in alignment here. The shoulders, the arms are all in one straight line. And then gaze up toward those fingertips. This should be a little bit of a release here in the hip. Couple more breaths here. Just enjoying this space. And when you've had enough, coming back to your table pose. Let's take a neutralizing cat and cow. Meeting back in our table and preparing to move to the other side. Just wagging the tail, shaking the hips out, preparing myself. And then when I'm ready, lifting that right knee, extending that right leg back behind me. Toe is flexed, hip is locked in and engaged, not open, in alignment. Again, the toe can come down to the mat for stability, build there. Then when we're ready, lift that foot. And if you feel strong here and you're looking for more of a challenge, that left hand can reach out in front of you. Staying here or choosing more challenge if you're needing that, and taking elbow to knee. Go ahead and hold this, or take your elbow to knee depending on where you are. Always listening to our body and asking it where it's ready to be today. Today we may do elbow to knee, and tomorrow we may just hold it. And that's okay. Recognizing every day our body is changing. And then once again, that left or that right foot extends out to the right side of the mat. Left hand walks out to that left side of the mat. Right hand lifts overhead, and just walk our alignment so that the left and right hand are in one straight line. Beautiful. Gaze up toward those right fingertips. And let this give you a little bit of a release, hopefully here in the hip, maybe in the even in the shoulder. And once again, coming back to this table pose. Shake the hips out, take a cat-cow, something that helps you come back, neutralize that spine. Now, because we did a little bit of work into the wrists, I'm going to pick my wrists up, or my hands up, and I'm going to put the top of my hands on the mat with my palms facing me, fingertips facing me, same with the other one. And so this is a stretch right through the forearm here. And if this feels good here, or if this feels very challenging, stay here. If you need more of a challenge or more of a stretch here, it's just sinking the hips back slightly. You'll feel a little bit more pressure in there. Couple breaths here, just stretching the wrists and the forearms out. Beautiful. Shake it out. Coming back to that table. Let's take one cat-cow here. And this next inhale, that right hand is going to reach high, opening the right side of the chest. The exhale, this right hand is going to thread underneath the torso, underneath through that right side, bringing the shoulder to the mat for a twist here. And coming back to that breath, this may feel a little harder to breathe in this space with that tight pull in there with that twist. But the breath will allow you to send the energy to the spaces that feel tight, really stretching in those spaces like the shoulder that might be very tight for you. We hold a lot of stress in our shoulders. We do a lot of things with our hands, straining our shoulders. 3 more of your deepest breaths here. And then if you move the left hand, take it back to where it started. And then on the inhale, lifting that shoulder, lifting that arm all the way to the sky, opening that chest back up. Coming back to your table, shake it out. And then we'll take that on the other side. On an inhale, that left hand raises, opening the chest, the left side of the room. Exhale, take that left hand, thread it under the body, taking that left shoulder to the mat. The right hand can pick up and move for more stability if that feels good for you. Other options, you can also extend this right leg or bring it out to the right side of the mat. Coming back to your breath, allowing that breath to get into those tight spaces in the shoulder, opening them up, nourishing them, oxygenating them, and lengthening them. If you move the right hand, bring it back to where it started. And then on the inhale, the left hand raises up and comes back to its table. Widen the knees, sink the hips to the ankles, melt the heart, brow to the mat. Child's pose. Deep inhales, deep exhales, maybe sighing it out, releasing something that's just been waiting to let go. Staying here as long as serves you, coming back through that table. We're going to come all the way to our belly and come back to that Sphinx pose. Elbows and forearms on the mat, palms on the mat. Gaze is raised. We're just allowing that low back to neutralize. A very subtle pose, but so often we are bending the opposite way forward towards our phones, towards our computers, towards whatever we're working with in our hands, towards our conversations. Not very often are we taking our body this opposite way. And we get into some of these poses where we're doing, wanting to do these really fancy poses. But really, just a basic pose like this Sphinx pose, is really doing so much for the body. It's very subtle. It may not feel like a lot, but this is really unwinding that chronic forward fold motion that we're kind of doing a lot during our daily lives and in our work. A couple more deep inhales. Feel that breath fill that belly, stretching out those spaces in the abdomen. Bringing it all the way up into the diaphragm, right underneath those ribs. Let this last breath be your deepest one, really filling that belly and that diaphragm all the way full. Fill it up. Hold it. Slow exhale. Beautiful. Take the hands in line with the fingertips in line with the shoulders. Inhale, extend those arms, cobra pose. A little bit more of a stretch in the abdomen here than our Sphinx pose. Then inhaling through your table. And we're eventually going to make our way to a downward dog. Take your time getting there. Shake it out. Adjust. Take a drink. Maybe wipe your sweat away. No rush. Pressing those heels into the mat. Walking that dog out. Bending the knees, taking the chest closer to the knees, and extending the heels. Left foot steps forward between the hands, low runner's lunge. Deep breath here. Exhale, step the foot through, feet to meet. Hands come to the shins. Inhale, peek up, half flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees a lot here. No need to be touching our toes. If you can't touch your toes, that's okay. Bend the knees. This is about stretching the back, not necessarily the legs and touching the toes. Really trying to focus here. So you can see I'm really bending these knees because I'm more concerned about stretching my back. Releasing the head, shaking it around. And then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, we're going to stand all the way up and then reach the hands overhead. Look at the hands. And then take the hands to heart center. Inhale, take them up. And exhale, take them all the way down to the mat. Inhale, hands to shins, peek up. And exhale, hands to the mat. Step that left foot back. Low runner's lunge on the right side here. Inhale. And exhale. Plant the hands, step that right foot back, plank pose. Deep inhale here, deep exhale. Drop the knees, then drop the chest, chin. Deep inhale and exhale here. Inhale, drop the belly, cobra pose, or that Sphinx, depending on which one felt good to you. Coming back through the knees, plant the toes onto the mat, lifting up, downward facing dog. Deep inhale, deep exhale, maybe side out here. One more time. Inhale, steps the right foot to the front of the mat, low runner's lunge. Deep inhale, deep exhale, one breath in this pose. Step the feet through, feet to meet. Forward fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Bend those knees, relax that head, shake it around. Inhale, stand all the way up, hands reach overhead. Through heart center, all the way up, and all the way down. Half lift. Right foot steps to the back of the mat, low runner's lunge. Hands plant, plank pose. Maybe you want to hold the plank here for a couple breaths, just building that digestive fire. So for our chaturanga, we can drop the knees, chin and chest. The other option we have here is to do a full chaturanga, a little more difficulty if you're looking for the challenge. Starting back in that plank pose, keeping the elbows tight to the body, we're going to lower down doing a low push-up. And then inhaling to our up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And starting to move through this flow on your own when you're ready. Left foot steps to the front of the mat, low runner's lunge. Right foot meets, forward fold. Peek up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. All the way up. Through the heart. Back up. All the way down. Half lift. Left foot back, low runner's lunge. Plank pose. Hold it if you choose to. Otherwise, you can take knees, chin, chest, or chaturanga. And then back to our downward dog. Deep breath here. Sigh it out. Right foot steps forward, low runner's lunge, feet to meet, half lift, fold, take it up, and through the heart, back up, and through to the ground. Halfway lift, low runner's lunge, plank pose. Choose to take knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Choose to hold plank here if you so choose. And then widening those knees and coming back to the child pose. Deep inhale and deep exhale. And then coming to your bottom, coming back to where we started. Once again, finding that comfortable space, whether that's on a pillow or a block. Inhale takes the hands overhead. Exhale, right hand to left knee and twist. We've been here. Hopefully feeling a little bit more space here. Inhaling through center, hands to heart. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, hands overhead. And exhale, twist the opposite way, left hand to right knee. Noticing the difference from side to side, right side to left side. Not judging, just noticing. Coming back through center. Deep inhale, deep exhale, maybe sigh it out. Inhale, reach the hands overhead. Exhale, side bend to the right. And then come back to that breath. Inhale, hands come all the way up. Exhale, take the side bend to the other side. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, take it through the heart. Let the hands come down to the knees. Let's take the fingers and press them actually into the ground. So let the shoulders, the chest be open, shoulders be relaxed, and then the fingertips are going to press into the earth beside you in an act to ground us. Drop the chin slightly so the top of the head is exactly parallel to the sky plane or earth plane, so it's flat essentially is what I'm saying. And then just focus on that breath. Feeling whatever sensations that are happening in your body right now. Tingling, warming, energy moving, lightness. And bringing the hands back to the heart center. Eyes still closed. Taking some time to find some gratitude for bringing yourself here to the mat today, for choosing self-care, for choosing to honor your body, to care and nurture your body. and noticing the space by our hands, this heart space, this space of love and abundance in our own self, and our ability to nourish that space, to love that space, and to share that space. Deep inhale, deep exhale, side out. Thank you for joining me today on the mat to start your day with a nice warm-up flow. Namaste.